and we're in 13 countries now and over 130 cities where we provided volunteer service. So I know how to manage a very large organization. I know how to motivate people, which is exactly what the city of New York needs. Its motivation has been depleted, especially if you're a police officer or a firefighter, you work for the city of New York. Your morale is at an all-time low. They need to be elevated, and then they need to be told, you are servants of the people. You have to go out there and you have to provide the service because the services have been depleted. That's why there's so much garbage and graffiti and rats and mice. All of those issues that are forcing people to leave the city. And the most important part, the millennials and Gen Zers have had an open pipeline to the Zohran Mamdani message, which is the rent is too high to pay. The cost of living is too high. That's what rode him to victory in the Democratic primary. I understand that. My wife is a millennial. The beginning of the month, she gets hit with an incredible student loan fee. And then if she wasn't living with me in marriage, she'd probably have to be sharing an apartment with maybe 3-4 others, like she was back in college in a dormitory. She's an attorney. They start out earning about $150,000 a year. Maybe they're a financial analyst. Maybe they're a CPA. Maybe they have another job that they were able to get after 4 years of college, 2 years of graduate school. And then they're realizing they have no money at the end of the month. So naturally, Zohran Mamdani taps into that anger. The problem is he has no remedies. And now the crime has become the prominent issue. People are saying, well, Cuomo failed us with no cash bail that he's doubled down on. Eric Adams, he's been a failure as mayor, corrupt right down to the marrow of his bone. And Zohran Mamdani doesn't want to hire cops. He wants to hire social workers. Although this sanctimonious hypocrite is now protected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by armed police officers at the NYPD. The people he hates, the cops, he's going on record saying, I hate the cops. The cops are racist. He doesn't mind at taxpayers' expense. They're protecting him morning, noon, and night. Meantime, I'm the only person who's ever been the object of an actual organized crime hit by John Gotti Sr. to John Gotti Jr. and the Gambino crime family. I was shot with 5 hollow point bullets on June 19th, 1992. I recovered. And guess what? I was offered a police detail, and I said, nope, we don't have enough police. Put them out in the streets. I can take care of myself as I have for 46 years.
One thing that we've heard from some of the Democrats and critics in general who have said that adding police presence, more police presence, is not doing enough to reduce crime all over New York City there. What are your thoughts on that overall?
Well, the motivation of a police officer to go out there and to physically engage, which is what they have to do from time to time, has been totally depleted for this simple reason. They no longer have qualified immunity. Now, that's a fancy way of saying taxpayer-supported insurance. Every civil servant has that. We see that in the case of Governor Cuomo when he fled, he was being sued by 13 separate women in his administration, his government, including a New York State trooper for sexual harassment. We're paying the bills. Our state controller, Tom DiNapoli, has said by the time all is said and done, and before we settle all 13 of these suits, because we're going to have to settle, it'll probably cost the taxpayers collectively $100 million. Why? He did it while he was governor. He has qualified immunity. But he sat and did nothing as governor, and Eric Adams, the former police officer, did nothing to protect fellow police officers when that qualified immunity was taken from them by our New York City Council in 2019 and also by the state legislature. So as a police officer, you are probably not going to physically intervene if you think you could lose your house, your mortgage, not have a place to live. The first 5 years are very difficult to begin with. An average cop is earning so little, he generally lives at home in the basement with his mom and dad until eventually he's able to get a place of his own. So I'm thinking we've got to really ratchet up our respect. We got to put police back on a pedestal. And we have to make it so that men and women want to be police officers because they know they can make a difference. Right now, they're so short in terms of personnel. And with their overtime being actually cut, You said, well, how are you going to be able to keep a city of this size, Gotham City, safe and secure? And essentially, the mayor's decided to turn it into a chessboard. Whenever there is a major outbreak of crime, he floods an area. But as a result, he's got to take cops from another area, and then the crime pops up there. We're in the middle of a serious gang retaliatory violence problem that he has ignored. I understand it. I'll deal with it. We're going to lock up gangbangers the way we lock up toothpaste in New York City now, and not criminals.
And the last question for you here, obviously you're running as the Republican candidate. So where do you align overall with President Trump, his policies, his thoughts on different important matters there, including crime?
Well, number one, I'm the only one who voted for President Trump this last election cycle against Vice President Harris. I talked about him on WABC in support because I've been a host in talk radio for 35 years, and I actually attended rallies on behalf of getting him elected the president. Now, there are some issues I differ on. For instance, he wants to send ICE in, and he wants to take away illegals who might be working in the backs of restaurants and in the hospitality industry. That will crush our economy. He knows there should be a special path so that they can work, and if they want to go home to their countries of origin, they can do that. So I'll tell you straight up, I have 3 sons. None of whom are going to work in a restaurant. They will not work in the hospitality industry. So we have to bifurcate this. Tom Homan, ICE, go after the bad hombres. That's what they were doing at first. The gangbangers, the drug dealers, the narco-terrorists, the cartel guys and gals. That's what the people want you to do. But when you're snatching up hard-working, illegal aliens who are doing all the work that Americans won't do in the fields and in the packing houses and in the slaughterhouses, how are you going to replace them with Americans? That's just not going to happen. So I would sit down with the president, who I've known for many years, and say, Mr. President, you've even suggested that. You want to destroy a vibrant industry in New York City? Take all the workers out of the back rooms, and then you won't have any Americans to replace them with.
Curtis Sliwa, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and share your different visions there for New York City. Any final message you want to get across to voters, people even across the country right now, before I let you go?
Oh, all you got to do is go to sliwafornyc.com, sliwafornyc.com. That'll explain everything. And if I can save New York City, which I will prevent everybody from fleeing to your areas, which might be red, and then it'll turn them purple, maybe blue, and then you get a 1-2 punch. You get me as mayor, the Republican mayor this year, and next year we get Elise Stefanik, who takes out Kathy Hochul, and it's back to the days of Giuliani and Pataki when this city and state had no corruption, the crime was depleted, and there was a great quality of life. I and Elise Stefanik can do that for New York State and New York City. We just have to be afforded the opportunity.
All right, Curtis Sliwa, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it. All right, that was Curtis Sliwa. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us and talk a little bit more about his vision there for New York City. Now, it's important to note we have also reached out to the campaigns of Eric Adams as well as Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo. Cuomo's people said they're working to get an interview set up here so we can bring it to you live. However, we have not heard back from Mamdani or from Adams' campaign. Going to head to a quick break here at 11:22 on the East Coast, 8:22 on the West Coast. We'll be right back with more live coverage in just a few. Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 11:25 on the East Coast and 8:25 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow. I'm here to bring you all of your top stories and live events from across the country and across the world. I do want to get you to the latest here as we continue to follow everything relating to the ice raids that are expected there over in Chicago. Now, this is actually coming in from Asher Red on X or Twitter, depending what you call it. He is with Fox News and has been stationed there over in Chicago following all of the latest over the past several days. He said protester tries to block an ICE van from leaving an ICE processing facility near Chicago. And of course, put some hashtags there, Fox News, immigration, ICE raids, and protest. I do actually want to take this video full to give you a look at what we're talking about. But again, this is a protester trying to block an ICE van in Chicago. The driver just trying to get wherever they're trying to go. But Asher captured that video a short time ago, and we did want to show it to you here on Live Now from Fox, just a few minutes in length. There was actually a portion as well where he gives the person driving the van the middle finger. That was clipped out, but again, you can see him just pushing that van. Now, few details are really known about what to expect today, but federal immigration agents expected to be staged at Great Lakes Naval Base, that is in North Chicago. Beyond that, though, few details about possible operations have been confirmed so far. We know that some organizations, including Hands Off Chicago, say that they plan to mobilize this weekend in response to all of this, and several other groups have announced plans to protest starting at 5 p.m. Central Time today. Paris Schutz over at our Fox 32 Chicago team following the latest.
Federal Homeland Security officials are quiet today as local officials warn Chicagoans to be prepared for what might come starting this weekend. Illinois U.S. Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin say they attempted to meet with federal Homeland Security officials with no luck.
They would not even meet with us to discuss it. This kind of secrecy is not part of our government and shouldn't be. It's an indication that there's something about this mission they don't want the public to know.
DHS fled. They fled and they're hiding, and that is a clear indication of how secretive they want to be on this effort. And so we are deeply concerned, and we're going to stay on top of it.
The local elected officials say they learned from Great Lakes Naval Base that federal agents are slated to be there until October 5th. DHS and ICE officials have been mum about the scope of stepped-up enforcement efforts. Governor Pritzker says they could begin as early as this weekend, with the